Hello, possums. It's still a bit nippy in Australia. Technically, we're in spring. If you're new to this channel, I'm Dr. Lena, your in-house sociologist, to have a look at all the madness and chaos that is around us on a daily basis. I was just an hour ago on Hogarth's program with Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice and Lady G, and we were saying, remember when news used to be boring? Yeah, that's what. That's what. So today I want to cover the shutdown that's pending. Hardly gets a mention, but it'll suddenly become critical. The updates on the Epstein stuff, because we have MTG wading in now. The hypocrisy actually takes your breath away. She voted over and over for the Handmaid's Tale, voting to take away women's health care, leaving American women with a medical Taliban. And now she's reinvented herself as a leader of the sisterhood. So we have to check that out. Perverted allies, you grab them where they are, but also the economy. So now it's the end of the northern summer. And it's obvious in the border states like Maine and Vermont and stuff suffered greatly, but also Florida. And when you see business people interviewed, whether they own hotels or industries associated with tourism, it's like, maybe it's the weather. No, it's because you've got a grotesque fascist at the top of the food chain. Everywhere else has been threatened with tariffs or had tariffs imposed, in the case of Canada being actively threatened, they don't get it. 2 and 2 equals 47. You're like, what? Anyway, let's just kick off with the economy because there's a lot of talk about the stock market, which is mysteriously high when we know the economy is going backwards. So, what is that about? I want to look at this disconnect between the stock market and the economy. So, what's happening there? Quick look into, because it's really important to pay attention to the difference between those things. Okay, come on down. The economy summit. Oh, celebrating in Florida. That's him. Yeah, well, look, his cards are crystal clear. This is my card for Trump on his stone throne. Excuse me. It's great. We are bringing in so much money, you can't count it. Oh, how good is the economy? It's better than anyone remembers. It's so much better. So the gaslighting is now complete because this is what he is saying. Okay. So what's it really like? Glad you asked. Oh, here comes another price rise. Here comes another forced redundancy. Here comes another closed sector of industry. Look, leaving people freaked out and what will soon be literally the cold, but figuratively the cold. And people are so ground down with the economy. The story in here is these people who are struggling can't see the light. It's really hard, which is why on these channels we try and keep a view on the light because the economy's not doing well. It's a self-inflicted drama. not by individuals, but by the Yeti Cankles Taco Tits himself has created this problem with the economy. Well, there were no surprises there, but I just want to just draw another couple of cards. Will the stock market follow, or is it protected by its own billionaire reality? Let's have a look, because your 401s are embedded in this. So that showed us the economy, but disconnect. What's the stock market think's going on? Let's have a look. Look, I think with the stock market, it's an illusion in itself. It is totally obscure. When I was much younger, and I was a temp in those days, I ended up doing a stint in the stock market in Sydney, where I learnt about things like the earnings to price ratio and stuff, makes your eyes glaze over. But even they don't know. They're worried about a rapid, dramatic ending to the good times. So they're going to start to hoard their money. This is more likely to be the mature players rather than the Wolf of Wall Street type younger ones who may or may not have issues on a recreational basis. Okay, so they're going to start holding on to their money. So much for investing. Right. Now that brings us seamlessly to the shutdown. It's only 30 days away or less or something. Let's have a look here. Have a look. What is happening with the shutdown as we speak? Surely the Dems are not going to bail them out this time, surely. So I just have to deal with a barking dog. I hope I get the pause button right. I'm back. Now, I just want to take this opportunity to say I don't know of another government in the world that has these weird mid-cycle threats of government shutdown that just suck all the oxygen out of everything. It's insane. An insane system. But what's going to happen with the shutdown? Let's have a look. Okay, we've got the strength. Oh, they better be careful. They better be real careful. This is strength in the sense, I think, of um, Republicans particularly thinking, oh, they won't do it. They haven't got the cojones to do it. It'll be okay. This is, I think that you know how they embed all these things in the deal to keep it open. That's what I think this is about. This is the slowest moving night with these pentacles. So I think it's going to be a dragged out negotiation. I'm a bit foxed by this card of that this is getting away with what you can get away with. It would probably slow this process down and then suddenly it speeds up near the end. I don't know about how you as Americans feel, but from the outside world looking in, will people from other countries let me know too? Does any other country have this system? But this followed by this is saying to me, the Dems will probably bail them at the last minute. Oh, I know shutdown's bad, but really, if you're not going to use your weight now, when are you going to use it? Please let me know. So we'll keep an eye on that issue. Now, back we go here to, I think we may as well go straight into the Epstein development. So the survivors have been amazingly strong and brave and speaking out and compiling their own list. So, of course, according to the Yeti, it's now the Epstein hoax officially. So this pits him against MAGA, who want to see this. Now, their list is going to be fascinating for obvious reasons. And there's going to be a fair share of Dems, because you've got to remember, who are these guys who went to the island? You know, like, and Epstein and Trump used to be Dem voters, etc. But this stuff crosses party lines. Now, Clinton's been mentioned since the beginning. Why does Hillary stay with him? I don't know, because he was always a skirt chaser. So zero surprises if his name comes out. But I guess what I want to know is, will there be some real shocks? Will there be some real shocks here? I'll use some of these cards and I will use some of these. Have I got the box here? I love these cards. And they are part of the film noir deck, which I'll just show you. So there's very dark films that we saw back in the day. And of course, their titles give us clues. So let's have a look here. But while I'm doing this, just something else I want to talk about. Florida, it's very weird, has now got some evangelical nutcase high up in health, and they are comparing mandated vaccines with slavery. How do they arrive at these positions? You know, like, what? And so another case of peak stupid to put a whole generation of children, two generations probably, at risk. Those kids who should be having their updates, they won't have their updates, therefore they won't be fully covered, plus the babies. You know. And he's saying God would approve. Well, last time I looked, God didn't take bribes from people like you, Pet. You know, disgusting. Okay, so let's have a look here. I'll do a bigger spread on the Epstein stuff. Okay. Now, this will be those who don't want to hear the message. The root of the issue, money. Let me finish these cards, then I'll come back to what I think's going on here. Oh, yes. Now, the money. Why does it always end up with the money? Okay, now this is a wealthy playboy scenario. So I think it's misleading to think of it in terms of the men were paying for sexual encounters with these women. It wasn't that base. It's worse in the sense of the women were part of your exquisite, Playboy holiday. I don't think money changed hands in relation to the women per encounter. It wasn't like normal prostitution and a pimp managing it or something. No, this is about the money that came from the extortion and the blackmail. That's where Epstein got his power. So, of course, this is massively emotional. for the women, and you cannot convince me there aren't young men yet to come forward. You can't tell me every wealthy man's heterosexual. Don't believe it. Sorry, moving right along. Just look at everybody. Okay, but it's massively emotional, both for the survivors and there's going to be some wives and mothers who I think will be very upset. Okay, so a strategy. This is a strategy, I think, by the survivors and their supporters in terms of legal supporters, how to have the most effective impact. But still, the bigger secrets are to be revealed. So let's look here if we can get any more from these cards. Oh, they're like the front. Forgive me. I think there's only three. No, there's more. Oh, God. This one is caught. I love that. But just trying to sort it out here. Okay, so let's have a look. What are we going to see that's different about the survivors list from what we know or suspect? Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, oh, this isn't what I was expecting. Okay. So the first card, remember Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, Faye Dunaway. Remember that? And what was it about? It was about the corruption in Southern California back in the day when you had this newly minted state that had lots going for it but didn't have water. So whoever controlled the water controlled everything from that point forward. Okay, so that's what I think this is about. Who controls the narrative from here? Can the survivors pull back the narrative, or they are dealing with the most powerful men in the world? This is quirky. His kind of woman. And look, it's a tropical island. It's a tropical island. Look at that. So, of course, men's tastes were catered for in all sorts of ways. Ah, it just hit me. It just hit me. What we're going to hear and see is not just the names, but what they wanted. What they wanted. I'll leave you with that in your imagination. I think it's the deviance that's going to be shocking. That's why we got this moon card. This isn't just about vanilla encounters with young women. This is not vanilla. This is the hardcore stuff, which is going to generate white hot stuff. Oh my word. Oh, well, that's juicy in a sordid way. Ooh, erky perk. All right, guys. Now, don't forget, talk to each other in the chat as well as chatting with me. I do my best to get through the chat. I really enjoy seeing what you guys are thinking about, how you're handling it all. So keep the comments rocking. Oh my God. Oh, see you soon. Bye.